viewers, welcome to the Volvo 240 Life channel. As always, my name's Patrick. For those of you that are returning or that are subscribers, 240 crew, welcome back. Today we are going to start on a little bit more ambitious project than we've been doing in our last videos. If you've been paying attention or following along, we have been commenting on how we are going to be doing some suspension work. Well, good news. Our parts have finally all arrived, as you can see here, and we're going to begin that project. I've never tried a really long video, and I don't know how it will go exactly. So what are we doing? Let's take a look. As I'm sure many of you know, after decades of hauling untold countless tons of cargo, Volvo 240 wagon springs can tend to get a little saggy. We're going to replace the ones that are original to this car with these IPD overload springs. When we get to real-world adventure testing a bit later when the weather is nicer here in Wisconsin, we're going to need these for what we're carrying. Along with those, we're going to put in some new Bilstein heavy-duty shocks. Right now we have a pair in the wagon that have been in use for quite a long time. Since we're replacing all these other things, we might as well replace those too. Since we're putting heavier duty equipment in for both of those parts, I think it's probably a good idea to put in some Super Pro polyurethane bushings in our torque rods, our pan hard bar, and our larger rear trailing arm bushings. When I started taking things apart, I realized that I probably needed to replace both the trailing arms as well as the spring seats. They're pretty rusted, as you're going to see in a few minutes when we start looking at things, and it's just a good time to replace all that. We're going to do a little bit of restoration work on some of the pieces that can be saved. Before we get started, why not take a moment and smash that subscribe button? It would really help out the channel. Right now, as I'm filming this, we are up to 131 240 crew members. I'd really like to get t-shirts, but as I watch other people's channels, I don't know if that seems entirely appropriate until we get to more like 1,000 subscribers. So let's take a moment and smash that subscribe button. All right, let's jump into it now. At the rust. Ooh, rusty. We are going to replace this dust shield in a different episode when we're doing the brakes. I don't know how well this is going to show up for you at home or wherever you happen to be watching. The upper spring seat is in pretty tough shape, and the spring itself doesn't look bad, but it is kind of saggy if you put anything in the rear. Let's see if we can get a little better lighting down here at the end of the rear trailing arm. This is probably the biggest area of concern, I would say. It's pretty rusted and rotted and needs to be replaced. Ooh, look how bad it is right there. You could put your finger through that spot. After a little bit of wire brush action and some rust converter on our, I don't know, let's call them slightly rehabbed pieces, and our new pieces, we're going to put this truck bed coating on over all of them. Kinda to replace the original wax that came on the car. Symbolically giving the middle finger to road salt for at least a couple of years. Let's do a little side-by-side comparison. All right, we have our old components over here. You can see they are completely shot in some cases, or very close to all wore out and rusty and looking terrible. That one in particular is extra terrible. And then on this other side, we have our new ready to be put in components that look a lot newer and all shiny. You can tell our overload springs have a little better, or a little tighter, I should say, twist to them. And then we also have our sort of refurbished pieces down here with the new polyurethane bushings in. Old and wore out, new and ready to install. New and ready to install, shot to bits, refreshed. On the fun scale, these rear bushings are only just kind of so-so. If you can afford to, this would be one of those items that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to pay to have someone else do, unless you are game for a pretty good struggle and a lot of effort. We do have them in on both sides, and we are ready to reassemble everything that we either took off and refreshed or that we're going to be putting in new. So let's get busy. All right, many hours later and a boatload of effort put in, we are one step closer to our real-world adventure testing. We have our IPD overload springs and our Bilstein heavy-duty shocks. We put in new bushings all the way around, along with some new trailing arms. We have our upgraded differential cover from last time. We still have a fair amount of work to do. As you can see, we reused the old sway bar. We are going to upgrade that. And we have to take care of some dust shields and brakes. Those will all be in episodes to come. Thank you very much for watching. Please take a moment to like, subscribe, and comment if you don't mind. And I will see you in the next episode.